great to see you again.
Good to see you as well, TC. Thank you so much for having me.
So what does your job as a production coordinator entail?
As a production coordinator, I handle the logistics for all types of productions. So that could be anything from sourcing locations, sourcing contributors, sourcing talent, finding crew and hiring crew, and then scheduling the whole of the production, including the shoot days and also the pre-production, and depending on what kind of project it is, post as well. And then all types of documentation as well, so making sure release forms are signed, making sure call sheets are distributed.
Why did you decide to become involved in production management for TV?
I graduated from uni after studying television production, and rather than take on something a bit more technical, my heart was always in the logistics of the shoot and putting together like someone else's vision, basically. Like, I'm definitely an ideas person, but when it comes down to it, I much prefer facilitating other people's ideas and concepts and just pulling it all together, because yeah, I'm like the bridge between people and what they want to do.
When did you make a start in your career?
I graduated from uni in 2018 and literally have been working in the television industry since. My first job in TV was at a broadcaster called A&E Networks, and I was like scheduling the channels. Then I moved quickly onto an independent production company called Entertainment, where I was a production secretary, and that was very much like admin and like office management, and then helping out on shoots. And then I joined ITN Productions as a production coordinator, so that's my full-time role now. I have been producing, production managing and coordinating freelance for about 2 years now.
What top 3 skills do you need to become a production coordinator?
Definitely organization. You have to be the most organized, the most on point person on the production. You really need to have that attention to detail where other people might oversee certain things. This is just so you can keep a tight ship running. You also need a strong network, because often people are coming to you to source certain things, whether it's places or people or talent or equipment. So it's really good to have a good network which you can rely on and draw from. Patience. Very much patience, because the working days can be really long. You're often like the first person to the shoot, you're the last person to leave, and also just in terms of pre-production, those days can often roll on and can be quite complicated, so you really have to like be patient when problems arise, so that you can always just have like a level head to keep it all moving.
Who helped you?
Last year, whilst I was working at Entertainment, I was awarded a scholarship by the David Lyle Foundation, and this scholarship was basically to boost or accelerate the careers of young aspiring TV executives. So this basically opened up so many doors for me. They paid for us to go to all these international markets around America and in Europe as well, so that we could really get to know the business of television and how it kind of operates at that level. It was literally an application that I put in and then was awarded. So yeah, whenever you see a grant, go for it.
What's been one of your best career highlights or achievements so far?
I definitely say the scholarship, being awarded that was definitely a big highlight in my career. Another big highlight was this year actually, when one of the first music videos I produced was awarded Music Video of the Year. One of my other achievements this year was working as a production manager on the Uber Black History Month campaign, and then seeing that work on a billboard in Camberwell, and also in like 3 or 4 different newspapers. It was in the Evening Standard, the Sun, the Metro. It's just such an amazing feeling to have your work validated that way.
What's been one of the biggest learning curves for you during your career, and what did you learn from this?
One of the biggest learning curves of my career has definitely been those moments on location or when you're out shooting and like something goes wrong. Earlier this year, I coordinated a brand content shoot for the new launch of Bait and Clark's like desert boots, and we had these incredible artists build the entire backdrop. It was massive. It was like 11 foot long and like 8 foot tall. Someone's gonna correct me on this, I'm sure. And this was the backdrop, so completely essential for our shoot. I thought that a standard Luton van was gonna be long enough to transport the backdrop from the studio in Brixton all the way up to Tottenham. The plan was they were gonna pick it up in the evening, the day before the shoot, drop it off so that in the morning it was all there set up ready for us to go. So they went on in the evening to pick up the backdrop and like the whole thing just didn't work. It didn't fit into the van. They couldn't pull off the tailgate or whatever from the back of the van to even try and fit it in. The morning of the shoot at like 6 a.m, we had to basically order a, what is it, like 300-ton lorry or something like that, like a massive lorry to transport the set. It got there in time, but these are just situations where you end up having to go into your contingency, and nobody likes to do that. So that's where I just learned, like, it's attention to detail. Unless you know something 100%, like, you have to go back and check it. You have to check things constantly in production.
What's your ultimate career goal? My
ultimate career goal is to provide a platform whereby Black British shows and stories from across the diaspora are showcased, championed, and accessible to the rest of the industry, so that they can no longer use this title excuse of not having, you know, a diverse production team, not having diverse storylines. We need this for our community, and the industry need this because they're slacking.
What advice would you give to young women who aspire to get into TV?
Definitely don't overlook the technical roles, because people always need gaffers, sparks, lighting techs, sound operators. These jobs are so high in demand, and productions pay very well for these roles because there's such a limited amount of people who actually will go for the technical roles, and it's so male dominated that I think it's really important for there to be more representation of women in these roles as well. Thank you so much for joining me in today's Career Corner, Gabby. It's been a pleasure hearing from you. Take care. Thank you so much for having me, TC. I really love what you're doing. If anybody wants to keep up with me, then it's at producer.gabs. And you know, keep your eye out for Livestream, which will be launching later this year. We're gonna have a host of brilliant content up for your viewing pleasure and celebrating, you know, different stories from across the UK.